I don't know if I want my hat backwards, forwards. We're doing the video backwards today. Well, we're doing my hat backwards today. All right, you know how I have said before that if you have a topic that you would like for me to talk about, let me know and I'll make a video on it. Well, the safety coordinator over at Renew Services reached out to me and asked me to do a video discussing the differences between what is an incident and what is a near miss. So that's the topic of the video today. Let's start it. If you're not subscribed already, take the time right now to subscribe. I'll wait for you. It's been a few months since I did a video though. Like I said, I'm sorry. Had my kids over here for a couple months, and then I got COVID again, which that sucked. But it is what it is, I guess. But we're back. So, all right, get into the video. And actually, some people who are new to the industry, they probably don't know what an incident is at all. And those that have been in this industry for quite some time, it's kind of obvious to us, right? So if you're in the group of those who are not aware of what an incident is, let's start the video off discussing that one first. Now, an incident is more commonly defined as a workplace event that results in injury or harm to a worker or workers. And I honestly kind of feel like this really doesn't warrant any further discussion. This one is actually quite straightforward when you hear it. An incident is something that actually happens and the worker, or again, workers, people sustained an injury from it. Now, if the incident is revolved around equipment or structure that ends up becoming damaged, that event is instead classified as property damage, but only if none of the employees were injured. If an employee was injured, then it goes back to being an incident, because people's well-being are more important than equipment or structures of a project, or at least they should be. Anyway, however, we have some people out there that would beg to differ, and, well, they should be shot. Fired. They should be fired. That's what I meant. Now, let's dive into what a near miss is, because this is one that causes quite a bit of confusion when you're trying to distinguish if an event was an incident or if it was a near miss. And sometimes near misses should actually be classified as an unsafe act or an unsafe condition, but due to all the convolution that projects lead to these two things, my mind went blank. A lot of things are counted as a near miss that really should not be counted as a near miss. But when we look at the definition, near misses are defined as an event not causing harm, but has the potential to do so. A near miss can pertain to almost anything. If you're not watching where you're going and you start to cross the street without looking and a car narrowly passes by you, that's a near miss. If you're driving a forklift through a warehouse and you're not paying attention to where you're going, and as you start to turn a corner, you nearly strike an oncoming forklift heading your direction, so then you have to swerve left or right in order to miss them. That's a near miss also, as long as you didn't hit each other. If you trip over an extension cord that is running through the middle of a walkway for some ridiculous reason, but you catch yourself and you don't fall, that's a near miss. If you are working at a height without wearing fall protection or without being tied off and your foot slips and your buddy catches you, you owe your buddy a beer, probably a couple of them, but that's a near miss. You see, the whole thing that separates a near miss from an incident is the outcome from the event that had occurred. If you cross that same road and you get struck by a vehicle, that is an incident. Could even be a fatality, depending on the situation. If you're driving the forklift too fast around the corner of the warehouse you're traveling through and you run into an oncoming forklift as you turn the corner, you should go back to training and possibly not drive a forklift ever again, at least for quite some time. But that is an incident. Could even be property damage if neither one of you guys or ladies were injured. If you trip over an extension cord that is running through the middle of the walkway and you fall and bang your knee up on the ground, that is an incident. Even if it is a bruise or a scuff or scrape, it's still an incident. It could be like a minor first aid, but it is still an incident. And if you're working at height without wearing fall protection or without tying off and your foot slips and now you fall 10 feet, that's a broken leg or arm. Back. You're gonna break something. I'd be surprised if you don't. but that is an incident as well. The thing that separated an incident from the near miss is something triggered everything that happened, but the outcome is what decided if it was a near miss or an incident. Crossing the street without looking, driving the forklift too fast, tripping over an extension cord, or not wearing fall protection. Everything was the same between an incident and a near miss, but the one thing that changed, that distinguished the two, that separated the two, was the outcome of the event. If someone gets injured, even minorly, I don't think is that a word? Even if it is a minor injury, it's still an incident. But if nothing happened, if nobody got injured, then it's a near miss. If you cross the road without looking, but there just happened to not be a car nearby and you did not use a crosswalk, that's not a near miss. If you drive a forklift around the corner and nobody else was around, that is not a near miss. If you step over that same cord running through the walkway without tripping over it, that's not a near miss either. If you're walking through the plant and you see people working at height without that fall protection, okay? That's not a near miss. That's not an event. That would be an unsafe act. I could go further, and I really want to go further and discuss the difference between an unsafe act and an unsafe condition. But I fear if I do that in this same video, I might lose some people and start confusing someone. So keep a lookout, because I think that may be the next video I do, is the difference between an unsafe act and an unsafe condition. So, hey, go down and subscribe so you can notify when I do the video. That would help out me and you. Now, I know that I've said it a couple times in this video, but I want to make sure it's clearly understood. An incident has occurred when an event has happened which resulted in one or more employees becoming injured, regardless to the severity of that injury. Could be a bruised knee or bruised arm, whatever the case is. It's still an incident. It still needs to be reported. And for no other reason, just to have it documented in the books that it happened at work, and so your employer can do what they are required to do and provide you medical coverage, medical treatment for that injury. If that same event had occurred but nobody was injured, that is a near miss. But something has to have happened for it to become a near miss. If there was no event, then there was no event. Look, if I still have not made things clear by now, go ahead and jump in the comment section and ask us your question, and let us try to provide further support. You can also send us a DM on Instagram or Facebook and ask us your questions that way also. Don't just sit back and keep these questions to yourself. We can't help you, we can't support you unless you ask these questions. And not only us, your safety people at your project, your coworkers, ask them for help and support as well. Hey, a lot of people don't enjoy standing up in front of a group of people and start giving a speech, especially when they know that those who are supposed to be listening, sometimes they don't care. So if you want to learn how to give an effective toolbox talk, check out this video right now for some really handy tips. And if you enjoyed this video, why don't you consider subscribing to it? On this channel, we talk about pretty much everything health and safety. Qualifications you should get, Toolbox Talks for safety moments that you can use at work. So go down below, hit the subscribe button, and consider sharing so others can get value out of this content as well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of each other.